Welcome to Cash Flow. Savannah, how did we get this far? Chandler, how are you?
I am doing good. I don't know how we got this far. It's cracking on pretty quick.
Yeah,
12 episodes. Sounds like a lot.
yeah, our podcast is almost a teenager. I'm proud of that. We have a little topic we want to talk about today. As most of you all know, Chandler and I both work full time as property managers here in Savannah. And Savannah is in the South. It's very humid, but there are many, many humid environments in the US. So I feel that this topic is pertinent everywhere, but we're always here to teach you about Savannah. And today we're here to talk about mold. Chandler, I know you have been dealing with some mold lately.
Yeah, the good old M word. I don't like to say mold. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
You
we've been dealing with it. It's hot, rainy. Um,
It's rained hard almost every day, wouldn't you say?
it just about during the summer, I feel like we get an afternoon hard shower like
Yeah.
every single day.
So we have a
Uh,
ton of moisture in the air. And, Chandler handles these furnished rentals for the turnovers. And honestly, Chandler steps in when it's a difficult turnover. He doesn't do the easy stuff, he does the hard stuff. So, generally, tell us kind of what you've been dealing with. This is something that people need to really be aware of.
yeah, no, so it's something to look out for too. Like a lot of people can just not look up when looking at these properties and they forget, and it can be a big issue when you have a guest in. Um, Now this is a little hard to miss. We had a guest just not say anything, and I'll say I've seen typical places for mold is in the shower. Um, that's just where you see it, and on the ceiling around the fan a little bit. We walked into this one, and it was just the entire ceiling, and it is something else to get rid of. It is crazy. We've had mold issues with this house before, and we went in and cleaned the entire system. Inside the system had mold, and it was just a mess. It was coming out the vents, so we cleaned all the vents. Um, but it seems like there's still mold in this house. Still want to leak around, and so it's just the work in progress trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, mold is something that we take very seriously. I mean, when it happened the first time, there was some mold in the picture frames. Like the pictures had paper in them, basically, and there were spots of mold in the paper. This was right outside the bathroom, or not too far from the bathrooms. But we took it, I thought, very seriously the first time. Like you said, cleaned out the entire system, cleaned out the vents. I mean, we thought we had it handled. And then the second time has actually been quite a bit worse. Would you agree?
It's worse. Like it's darker, and but it's not throughout. It's not in the pictures this time. It's not in every vent. It's just in the bathrooms this time. There's three bathrooms in this place, and it's really bad mold in all three bathrooms.
And one of
And
those bathrooms is a half bath, may I say. It doesn't even have a shower or a tub.
in the half that, and probably not many people use it. And so, like, I'm not sure how it's going through there. I want to say the vents in there, the air vents. Um, it's just coming through those now. But yeah, it's not fun to deal with. It was funny. We got a laugh out of it. The cleaners showed up in their hazmat suits and the mask and the goggles and the whole thing, and they had fun with it. And so it's kind of fun. That's how we deal with things around here. We try to have fun with it instead of freak out.
Well, and I want to say mold, can be quite costly for the owner. This is the second time for this. We managed this property for an out-of-state owner who they're wonderful and not their fault at all. We're trying to help them solve the issue. But now their property is shut down. We can't take bookings for the property because there is mold, and we have to figure out the issue before we can rent it again. So not only are they having to get mold remediation, they're also losing out on the rental income, and that can be quite painful. So, some of the tips and tricks Chandler and I want to talk about today, they're important in that we don't want mold to come the first time, and we definitely don't want it to come back because this is a health hazard. We can't put guests in the home with these kind of issues. So, Chandler, I know you spent quite a bit of time in this home. tell us what conclusion did you come to the first time when there was mold, and what new conclusions have you come to this second time when there's way more mold?
So the first time we were like, all right, let's get these ducts clean because they were just coming through all the vents. All right, so it's coming through the AC unit. And we opened that AC unit up and you could just see it. All right, there's our problem. And cleaned it all up, had a professional cleaner come in, clean it all up. And they did mention um, there's this light you can put in. It's like a $600 red light. It's either 600 or 900. It's not cheap. I can tell you that. Basically, you put it at the beginning of the vent system and it shines this red light. And so when mold tries to go through that red light, it can't. There's something with that red light where mold just can't go through. Um, that was what they mentioned to me. I'm guessing the next step is we're probably going to have to do something like that. It's not a ton expense, but it's better than getting a guest in there and having to refund them the entire month.
Mhm.
That's probably our next step is the red light. Um, as far as the attic's not really good, really well insulated. So that's another step that we probably will need to take. I don't know. That's a tough step to take, but getting it spray foamed will probably be another good step because I know it's also that AC works really hard when it's hot in that attic like that, and those units can get pretty hot. So having that sprayed will help a ton.
You think the more the AC runs, the more it removes moisture from the air. But, it's just been very, very moist here, and it's going to be very, very moist here in the spring. What we're having this summer is kind of our typical spring weather where you have just giant puddles in the yard almost every day. It's just, there's just a ton of moisture falling out of the sky. This red light kind of interests me in that I own some good bit of properties and I've never heard of it. I've never had an issue that needed a red light. So I don't understand if the issue is the house or is it the system? Is it the ductwork? Like, I don't know. It's just such a puzzle.
I don't know either. I'm kind of learning as I go. I call a lot of people and say, "Hey, have you ever dealt with this?"
Mhm.
The first person I call is like kind of the HVAC companies, and kind of call until I get somebody that knows what they're dealing with. Um, but yeah, one mentioned that red light, and they were like, "You probably need to do this. This is probably going to be your best bet." Um, I know humidifiers. I really like you put a lot of humidifiers in your properties.
I absolutely
I
do.
bet they
It
work
makes a
really well.
difference.
Huge difference. Like once you put humidifiers in your properties, it kind of just took all your problems away. It didn't. I mean,
We had a duplex, yes, which I think you're referring to, and we ended up putting, and I'm talking maybe $150 dehumidifier from Amazon. We're not talking thousands of dollars. Chandler and I installed these, and we're draining them into the pipe where the washing machine drains. Now, your HVAC guy, I have those as well. Like in my personal home, I have a house-wide dehumidifier, so it's more expensive, but it's actually in the attic and it drains into the same place as the air conditioner. So you've got to have drainage to have a dehumidifier. You don't want to go and empty out the bucket, every 3 hours or whatever. But yeah, we had this one duplex. We had moisture issue for sure, but there was also a smell. And one of my other properties, there was just this funny smell at the entrance. And ironically, that one we kept getting complaints of mold, and maybe you'd find 3 black dots, and people were acting like they were going to die. So we put in a dehumidifier right in that room with the funny smell, and it's gotten rid of any mold complaints and it's gotten rid of the smell. And then we now have the opposite of that in that we have a house where there were no complaints about mold either time. And both times we had a pretty significant mold issue. So it's like the one house with really no mold, but a funny smell got mold complaints. And the one with mold, I don't know that it had a smell. And they never said a
there's
word.
nothing else. I'm very surprised. These guests, I guess they're really nice. They didn't complain at all. We walked into it actually. Um, so thanks to those guests. But yeah, now it sucks to have the property shut down because
Mhm.
I wish the guests kind of would have told us so we could stop it early, instead of having to deal with it after the guests get out.
Well, this is a severe issue, so I don't want to say that this is going to fix this issue because I don't think it will. But in several of my rentals where there's a small bathroom and I worried about mold, a lot of times I have had my electrician hook the fan in the bathroom to the light. So anytime you turn on the bathroom light, the fan is going to go on. And I have seen that personally really reduce the moisture. Again, I've never had a severe issue. That's to address a minor mold issue where the guests weren't turning on the fan when they were in the shower. But now they have no choice. Either it's dark or they have the fan on, so that's always a great tip or trick that you could do. And it's fairly inexpensive. This property though, that we're speaking about, Chandler, one thing I want to point out, it's actually a 2-story property. And the mold you're saying is in both bathrooms on different stories. So it's not just the ceilings close to the attic with the issue.
Yeah, no, it's every bathroom. It's nowhere else but the bathrooms. Um, like you said, I would highly recommend getting a fan. I know some of these older houses don't come with them.
Mhm.
That's probably the first thing I would ever do is just put a fan.
Yeah.
Because um and probably I'm assuming these fans just I think they're sucking up the air, but the air has nowhere to go. I think it's kind of just staying there. I think so you probably got to check on like where is that air actually going? And I mean that could be an issue too.
Well, and this applies to all investment real estate, all subjects. Once you find an issue, the best advice I would give anyone is you have to fix it and you do not ever want a recurring issue. So this is now a recurring issue and it's very expensive. I mean, we have a ton of staff time into it. We don't get paid for that. The owner is not getting rent. They're not getting paid. We're not getting paid, so we're desperately working to fix this recurring issue. And I don't care if it's plumbing. I don't care if it's a pothole in the yard. It doesn't matter. Once you find an issue, try to fix it, really fix it the first time so that it doesn't come back to haunt you. The dehumidifiers that we were just speaking about, I kept doing this or that and yada, yada. Once we just went there and put in the dehumidification system, the issue's over.
Yeah, no doubt. I like when owners can kind of just jump on it and get on top of it ASAP.
Yep. Time is money is a very
Yeah,
good statement.
no doubt. I know you had a little issue that you had to spend a lot of money on. It wasn't a mold issue. Talking about cake. Um,
Cake.
just to get rid of the smell, you had to spend a good chunk.
Yes, we had a cat's pee smell we couldn't get rid of. And I ended up doing a partial rehab on the dang house, only to discover that the smell was coming from the mattress covers. But we now have a really cute house with new windows and new walls. So
I'm gonna lie to myself and just pretend like they didn't come from the mattress covers.
yeah, that was a recurring issue. And that was a costly. I mean, how many refunds do we give because of that smell? Like
And
at
we did
least 4 or 5.
we have an ozone machine. We
Yes.
have I mean, I never thought to do this, but I was in there with all the lights off pitch black with a purple light because supposedly cat pee shows up green with the purple light. Didn't see anything there. We did everything
Everything. And
except smell.
except wash the mattress covers.
Washed the curtains. We washed
That's true.
everything.
That's true. Well, I wish we could get rid of this mold with just washing the mattress covers, and we'll report back. But just want to say for anyone investing in a climate like the Southeast where it's very moist, be aware. Watch for signs of mold. Whenever I show property, a lot of times the buyer isn't there. A lot of the buyers that I work with are out of state, and I'm always careful to video the house, but I also want to always turn my camera up to the ceiling. The ceiling fans are often the first to show mold. I know you've seen that, Chandler. You look in the bathroom. So if you see a severe mold issue, you want to kind of find the source. One of the properties that I bought in Garden City years ago, I'll never forget. There was only one. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. There's only one. So the bathroom was fairly small. In the house, there wasn't mold when I purchased it, except for this one corner of the bathroom. And I'm talking an exterior wall corner. And it was really gross, thick mold. I mean, I wore a mask. I bleached it. I just handled it myself. But it was a roof leak. And so it needed a new roof anyway. I knew that. And sure enough, as soon as we put a new roof on it, I have never, ever had a mold issue in that corner. In fact, Chandler, you're probably not even aware of that. And I know you've been in that house many times. So it was, again, I put the money in to solve the problem, and I didn't want it to be a recurring issue, and it has not. Now, was that a very expensive repair? Yes. But I also have a 50-year roof on a house, and I don't have to worry, when these storms come through. So that's probably the worst mold issue I have personally dealt with in one of my investment properties. But it was, again, I knew what the source was. I had a pretty good idea of what the source of the mold was, which made it a lot easier to fix. Our biggest issue in this property is that we're not 100% sure what the source of the mold is.
Yeah, but after cleaning the entire system, I thought that would have been it, but
Right.
we gotta kind of just gotta search and find where it's coming from.
Yeah, I agree with you. If the attic is very drafty and we've got all this moisture, it's clearly just getting into the house and getting trapped there.
Yeah,
So
for sure, for sure.
really scary. Well, thank you so much, Chandler. That was really fantastic. We really appreciate the deep dive into mold. We're just talking about all the tough topics here.
Yeah, no, no one likes to talk about those kind of things, but it's definitely something you want to be aware of, for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for coming on, Julie, and please like, comment, subscribe, share. We really appreciate it, and we will see you in the next episode.
Absolutely. And please respond. If you have any thoughts for us on this house, please type in the comments. We would love anyone's expertise. We are not here as experts. We're here as people on the ground trying to resolve this issue. So we would love anyone's thoughts on this.
Please, please, please.
Make Chandler's life better. Solve one mold issue.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much.
Bye.